time of year where a lot of people start to think about their goals or how they want to show up this next year in their life or what they want to accomplish. And in order to do that without all the influence or without other people's opinions, you really do have to get alone. You have to kind of shut out all the distractions in order to really get the focus that you need to understand what's coming through. Because you might not be hearing yourself. You might have a disjointed conversation where all you can hear is that asshole drill sergeant that we talked about. Like, you may have a positive voice inside you telling you that you are good enough, that you did do enough today, that what you're bringing to the table is amazing, but you're just not hearing it because there's so much going on around you. And the third factor about self-care solitude is that quiet time sharpens you. Your senses are absolutely dulled by the barrage of stimulation in your face every day. Even if you think you have like the most boring life ever and it's the same old thing or it's really super lame right now, you are still being stimulated beyond what's healthy. And quiet time allows you to reconnect with those sentences. I'm a part of a weight loss group, and one of the things that they suggest when we're trying to really focus on feeling the feelings, the physical feeling of having had enough food, they have this thing called a monk meal, M-O-N-K, like monks in the monastery, where you just sit completely quiet, undistracted, nothing else going on, and eat your food. And it is such a radically different experience than eating just like you normally would. Whether you sit down in front of Netflix and find something great to watch while you're relaxing, or whether you're eating standing up in the kitchen ready to go or going through the drive-thru, the experience is so much different because quiet, just being quiet and having no noise around you, it absolutely heightens all of your senses. You definitely hear more when it's quiet. You see better because your eyes are more focused and not distracted by the sounds off in the distance. I know for me, when I step into this recording booth and it's quiet and I can't hear anything, it does feel like time slows down a little bit. You know, there's a different vibe, and I absolutely feel my senses are definitely heightened. Even the coffee tastes better in the recording booth. And a third positive attribute about self-care solitude is that inactivity allows for contemplation. And I want you to really think about this right now. When is the last time you just sat down, thought about your life or yourself or whatever without distractions or anxiety or that feeling of like, what I got to do next, I got to get going, I got to get from here to here to here to here. You might have all the answers you need locked inside of you, but you can't access it because you're so go, go, go all the time. It's one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. And self-care solitude requires inactivity. It's really important that you take time to do nothing because before technology took over, there were periods of time where you just had to stand in line and just sit there with your thoughts. There wasn't a computer in your back pocket that you could look up dog pictures and funny videos or listen to, new music or whatever. Inactivity, just sitting and doing nothing, is probably one of the least valued commodities that we have at our disposal to help us with our mental health, our self-care, our focus, our attention, all of those things. You have to make it a priority. Another very important attribute of self-care solitude is that disconnecting, it allows you to process. Because let's be honest, everybody, there is probably some shit going on that you haven't dealt with, like some emotions that haven't been given their day in court. There's things that we need to process that have happened to us over the last few years. We all tend to just keep going, right? Just head down, plow forward, get to the next thing. What's next? What are we doing next? Everyone kind of experiences this trauma and then just plows on through. And that's what's happening in our society right now. And when you really just disconnect from the world, that gives you just a beat, a moment to have that emotional connection with yourself and allow those feelings to come up. Whether they're good or bad, who cares? Don't judge. Just let it happen. You've got to carve out some time, especially right now, to have that alone time, to process through all the stimulation. You really have to take some time to disconnect from all that's going on and allow yourself the time to process through all this big stuff you've been going through. Because buried feelings never die. They just fester and grow mold and become toxic to you. And over time, they really wear down your ability to enjoy life. And the whole point of self-care is to feel better. That's the whole point. That's why you tuned into this podcast. You want some ideas on how to take care of yourself so you can feel better. And today's topic is take some quiet time alone. The busier you are, the more you have going on, the more you need to counteract that with some quiet alone time. And last but not least, solitude allows you to reconnect to yourself. So who are you? Like at the core of you, before anyone came at you with their opinions or their judgments, like who are you? What do you like to do? What do you want to do? What makes you who you are? It might be lost in doing all this stuff for other people and your self-worth being attached to helping or doing or producing. So it might be time to just really connect with yourself. And solitude, quiet time, being alone is how you do that. Again, I want to run over those positive attributes of self-care solitude. Number 1, darkness is not bad. Number 2, alone equals focus. Number 3, quiet time sharpens you. Number 4, inactivity allows contemplation. Number 5, disconnecting allows for processing. And number 6, solitude allows you to reconnect with yourself. All right, so real quickly before I wrap up, you might be saying, Chris, this sounds great. I need to take some alone time, some alone quiet time to myself for self-care. How do I get that? Well, real quick, I've got some very quick ideas on how you can do that. Number 1, play hooky. Call in sick. You deserve it. You probably have PTO built up. Number 2, turn off your phone. Even if you can't do it for a whole day, maybe an hour here and there. Doesn't have to be all together, but just get into the habit of disconnecting from that phone. Number 3, go out and get into nature. That is the fastest way to create some solitude. Number 4, maybe it's time to plan a writer's weekend. If you don't know what that is, it's just a weekend. You get a cabin to yourself. You go out. You be alone. It's what writers do when they're working on books and stuff. Number 5, get a babysitter. You don't have to have a date night or any real reason. Just get a babysitter to watch your kids so you can have alone time to reconnect. Number 6, avoid social media. Like, think about it. How long have you actually gone without it since it was created or since you signed up? Time to take a break. Number 7, sleep in the spare room. If you and a partner have been together for years and years and years and you love them to death, you got a spare room in the house, go sleep in it for the night. If you have a healthy enough relationship, this should not cause any problems, but have the conversation with them first so they know, hey, I'm just trying to get a little self-care alone time. It's just for a night. There's nothing wrong between us. Have the conversation. Do it. It's worth it. Number 8, next time you're on an errand, take some alone time in the car. Again, it doesn't have to be a big old long weekend away. You can take these little moments of self-care solitude anywhere you can get them. And last but not least, ask for it. Just ask for what you need. If you need some alone time, if you need some quiet time, get the cojones up and just ask for it. And when you do get that alone time, finally, to yourself, try not to get caught up in having to do something or accomplish something or achieve anything. It's really just about practicing this art of being alone, being with just yourself, and maybe, God forbid, being bored. All right, friends. Happy holidays to you and yours if you celebrate. That's it for this week. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have a story you'd like to share and you want to be on the show, please email me. It's Chris, Kris, at selfcareissexy.com. Okay, we've got some really great content coming your way, including some new interviews, so stay tuned. And remember that self-care is sexy. We're giving you permission to put yourself first.